Well, hello everybody and welcome to this third part of this tutorial series. And this time we will start working on the long hair for our character. So let's get to it. New hair part, of course, requires new weight painting. This time around, I will actually create several different regions. One for the front part, one for the back here, including this top of the head. Oh, and by the way, if you for some reason do not like this weight painting method and feel like it is not giving you enough detail to work with, you can always choose painting the maps for your hair in, for example, Photoshop, or a Substance Painter, or Blender. Then import the texture into Blender, and instead of these vertex groups, use this texture menu below. Once you import the texture here, you will be then able to make it drive all the parameters in this influence menu. I myself almost exclusively use weight painting for this, but if you need more control and resolution of this map, you can definitely use this workflow. Alrighty, so I have painted several weight maps, front, back, side and top, and even though I did not end up using them all for this character, these are generally the ones I start with when creating long hair. Creating more than one hair group for the head actually makes the later grooming process much simpler, because it divides the hair into manageable chunks. After I was done weight painting, I proceeded to create a new particle system, called it hair bag, and right off the bat specified this vertex group to be the region to use. And looking at this, yeah, we are creating long hair, but not nearly that long. So let's shorten it here as needed, maybe to 0.15. Okay then, it's time to very quickly comb everything, so make the hair flow down, like this, around the head and shoulders. And good thing about this is that the particles actually try to stay away from the emitter, which is our body mesh. If you want to get closer towards the mesh with your hair, you can do it here in the end sidebar, in Tool and Distance. You can even turn off the deflection altogether, but I generally do not recommend it. Hair usually do not grow through the surface. Next, activate the children, choose interpolated method again, and I think 50 particles will do. Adding roughness helps with the randomness of the hair, and some sort of kink, maybe a wave. Whoa, wave with much smaller amplitude, like 0.01. I'm adding some roughness here, as well as some randomness. And yeah, these values are definitely not set in stone, so please experiment with your own. This time around, we actually do try to create long hair, so check this parameter, and also this B-spline is good for smoother flowing results. But you lose a bit of control over your particles since they are converted to B-splines. So I won't use it. Instead, I will increase the steps, which will give me more subdivisions at the render stage. And yes, this subdivision is more vital for the long hair than it was for a short beard. But if you increase the render value here by 2, you will need 4 times more memory to render. So careful. Time for some preview render and some quick grooming with the length tool. Of course, now our hair is black because we haven't shaded it yet, so let's fix that. Add a principled hair shader with some direct coloring and choose it here in the render settings. And this is actually looking quite okay, though I'm thinking these strands may be too thin and soft, so let's increase the diameter here to something like those values we were using last time. Or let's go even bigger now for preview purposes, though I might end up lowering the value for the final render. Now we can very quickly repurpose the hair shader we created last time. Just copy this hair info, color ramp and mix node, and of course we will need to adjust some of these values here to really make the graying hair shine, if that makes any sense. And maybe decrease the values of these colors here, and for now, let's leave it as it is. Looking at this, let me actually increase the wave amplitude, and now I think we can proceed to the next region, and that is going to be the big mane of hair on top of his head. At this point, I actually decided to make the warrior's hairline recede a little bit. It went much better with the design I had for him of this older, grizzled warrior. So let's shape it a little bit into this wedge here and then add a new system, hair front. You will probably encounter this issue that whenever you have made manual adjustments to the hair system and now this is grayed out, you can't simply rename it. Instead, you can go here into Outliner, Blender File, and find everything here and rename it. So here, make it hair system and reuse it for this new front hair slot. Choose this front group here. And of course, do not forget to hit this 2 button to make the particle system unique. Otherwise, we would be changing the previous hair preset as well. Name it hair front. 600 particles will probably be enough. And now let's get grooming. In fact, first, let's cut some of these hair here. And then with the comb tool, try to get your hair over the head and onto the back like this. It will not be the easiest task, so feel free to try different selection modes down here. I use this path one. Don't forget the other side of the head as well and shape everything. Something like you can see on the reference sheet you have surely prepared for your character. Now when you jump out of this mode, you can see that the children are doing all sorts of unintended, low poly looking chaos here. We can raise the resolution of these paths to 6, though I would not really recommend going over this value. And if you want to give the hair even more resolution right here in the grooming stage, be in this point mode and hit A to select all of them, and then right click and subdivide. This gives you much more subdivisions to play with. Continue combing, raising this center portion right here, shaping the side areas to go around the ears. And yeah, I know, this is like the 10th time I'm hovering around this B-spline option, but in the end, I decided to press it, for it will give us smoother results in the final render. Raise the front portion here, and you can see that after subdividing the actual hair particles, it is much easier to control them now. But what I want to do is to have even more resolution right around this endpoint of the hair, where it curves and goes to flow back along the shape of the head. To just subdivide these areas around the roots of the hair, simply select them. And just as you would in polygon edit mode, hit Ctrl+ to grow the selection, and then subdivide it once or twice, whatever your computer can handle. And now it's finally much easier to comb this most important part of the front. Well, the children particles still make it look like a Schwarzkopf commercial. So first we can maybe decrease the amount of hair. 10 will probably do for now. Oh, and by the way, if you hit render preview and then wait, and wait, and wait, and still nothing happens, and you are slowly growing desperate, telling yourself, wow, if the preview is so slow, I'll never be able to render it for final. And then you notice this little button down here. Well, that means you have successfully stopped your render preview process. Just click it until this icon appears. All good now. And yeah, hair product commercial. Of course, we'll do something about that. To have a better idea of the final result, you can go to viewport display here and increase the number of preview steps. This will give you a better approximation of the actual shape. And now, since we are drawing near the final result, let's reorganize the windows like this and have preview render always on. Have some of the hair fall over the ear and shape it. Since this system is no longer just hair front, but instead overall hair system for the head, let's rename it to hair long. You can finalize the particles with some clumping. I almost always like to use the clumping curve, which I've explained last time. And a bit more roughness here, with maybe bigger diameter. That's just part of the ongoing experimentation with these settings that you will no doubt do as well. Final cutting of the hair here, since I wanted it to recede even more. And yeah, we have arrived at quite a good looking base for the long hair. And next time we will finish the job. So with that, we have successfully started the long hair preset, and next time we will finish it up, add little loose hair, and also do some more shading. So if you like this video, definitely consider supporting this project over at Patreon, where you will actually get the hair that we are creating as a patron bonus, aside from other behind the scenes videos and polls and live streams and everything else. So yeah, have a look there. So stay creative, my friends, and until next time, Martin out.